What is up, guys? This is Baham Riven speaking, and welcome to this new episode of Trails of Cold Steel 2. In the last episode, Reen awakened and controlled his ogre-like power, Spirit Unification, and we managed to escape from the Pantagruel and the Noble Alliance's clutches by reuniting with Prince Oliver, Viscount Arcade, and everyone else on the Courageous.
If that is all, I will return to a state of inactivity.
Thanks for all you've done, Valimar. I'll be counting on you if anything else comes up.
Acknowledged. Prepare yourself for your next encounter with the Azure Knight, my awakener.
Yeah, we still need to improve a little bit if we want to stand up to it one-on-one.
Don't worry, I will. We lost last time, but I know that's not all I'm capable of. As long as we're all together, I know I can get stronger.
I eagerly await your results.
Looks like he went to sleep.
So, this is what the Great Ashen Knight looks like up close, huh? I've heard all manner of rumor about it, but I never expected I'd stand in the presence of a legend.
I can't possibly begin to thank you enough. I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come to my aid. Thank you. Really.
Well, if you didn't show up, we would probably be back into our cells. Well, let's put that in air quotes. Because, yeah, we would probably be caught again.
And that goes for everyone else, too. Thanks for coming to rescue me, guys.
We're just happy you're okay.
Just don't scare us like that again, alright?
True. We were all on edge waiting for you to get back.
And yet you somehow managed to come out unscathed with Her Highness in tow.
You make it sound like it was easy. Well, easy or not, it was worth going on board. I got plenty of useful info out of it. So funny enough, I'd say their invitation worked to my benefit more than theirs.
Well, it's not wrong.
I guess there's no harm in looking at the positives now that all's said and done.
Look at you, acting mature and all grown up. Brings a tear to my eye.
Looks like we have some catching up to do.
I'd like to follow Reen's lead and extend my thanks to each of you as well. Thank you, all of you. And, dear brother, it's a relief to see you safe and sound.
Also, give me a moment to actually interrupt this scene. If you hear some wind noise in the background, it's because I had to put my ventilator on. I have a little vent next to me, and because it's so hot where I live.
Though I never pictured my great escape would end with you in this airship of all things.
We did time our appearance fabulously, if I do say so myself.
Perhaps a little too well.
My only regret is that we weren't able to blow in with a storm of rose petals when we boarded them. Perhaps I should have asked Emma to look into the feasibility of making such a magnificent entrance.
That would be rather impractical.
Oh man, that would have been so cool! Well, it's probably not impossible.
Emma, don't play along with him, please.
Now you're just being silly.
Sounds about right for our prince.
Well, at the very least, I'd say we're clear of any immediate danger. And given this opportunity, I'd like to sit down with you to discuss our situation and exchange any pertinent information. But first, I think we have a few more reunions to celebrate.
Reen!
Oh yeah, there were a couple of voices I recognized at the end of last episode. And I thought it'd be them.
Toa! George! I thought I heard your voices when we started flying away from the Pantagruel, so you were on board too?
You bet. Good to see you, Reen.
Whoa!
Seriously, developers, why did you have to make all girls have a huge boner for Reen? Yeah, okay, I said it. What the actual F?
It's really you. You're really okay.
Well, no, maybe I'm confusing with some other game starring Reen. But, come on, the fact that you had pretty much made canon, let's put that in air quotes, the fact that every single one of the festival scenes are now canon, instead of only picking one and sticking to it, it kind of annoys me. Because at that moment they all have some heart-to-heart time with Rin, resulting in scenes like this in the sequel. With Elisa, since I did her, I could understand, but anymore, I'm just ranting right now. It's kind of annoying for me too, so let's just move on.
No sooner had we found out that you were still alive, we got told you had been taken by the Alliance. We've been so worried about you.
I'm a real troublemaker, aren't I? Sorry, Toa, but I'm glad to see you and George made it out okay. Everything I've said to you has been at the back of my mind ever since we parted ways in Trista, and it's kept me going every step of the way. So, thank you.
Oh. You remembered. You promised me you wouldn't die. And you didn't. We still need to work on that one, but I know you're not the kind of guy who'd go back on his word.
See? Rin's a guy you can count on. Nice to see you're holding up okay.
Yeah, same to you. By the way, can you make some more Zemurian ore swords or weapons? No? Trying to cheat my way out of this game is gonna be impossible, is it?
Still can't believe you made it through all that fighting in Trista in one piece, but... well, here you are.
Good to see you again, George. But how'd you two end up on the Courageous to begin with?
We'll bring you up to speed once we all sit down for our meeting. There's a conference room on one of the upper floors. We can meet there when you're ready.
I'm gonna try to speed it up a little, because after this we're going to have to explore the entire ship before progressing with the story. I'm probably gonna make this video a little longer, considering that it has some plot in it, and there won't be much action, but yeah. Let's see if I can make up to it somehow.
The Courageous began its independent operations right before Heimdall was first occupied. I realized what the Alliance was planning, so I gathered a skeleton crew, met with Viscount Xseed, and we hurried straight to Trista, where we found your classmates locked in combat with the Azure Knight.
I see. That explains why you were in Trista.
I shudder to think what would have happened if not for the Courageous's timely appearance. What have you been doing since then, Father? I hadn't heard anything about your whereabouts until now.
Eventually, we were able to shake off the Azure Knight's pursuit. And we've been traveling around the country ever since, preparing to find you and take you on board.
George and I haven't been here long. The principal managed to get in touch with the Courageous without anyone noticing and sent us here.
Well, being a former general in the Imperial Army, I suppose Principal Van Dyke had some connections.
He did?
I hope he's still alright.
Trust me, I'd be more worried about the guys trying to attack him.
By the way, what happened to Major Vander? You two are always joined at the hip.
Oh yeah, I guess there's that.
Alas, he is currently indisposed. His military obligations have him heading up the 7th Armored Division in Western Erebonia. They're working with your former instructor, Major Neidhart, as well.
With him too? So he's over in the west now.
Huh. I should have known the 4th Armored Division's ace wouldn't get his ass kicked so easily.
Oh, right. Dad said he'd heard from him too, remember?
Still, the west side of the country contains Marquis Hyarm's Sutherland Province, along with Duke Cayenne's Lemaire Province.
The actual problem.
The fighting there would no doubt be even more fierce than it is here in eastern Erebonia.
Correct. A large percentage of the Imperial Army's military strength still remains intact. But the Noble Alliance forces' constant attacks have put them at a disadvantage. On top of that, a number of townships in the region have been caught in the crossfire and suffered great losses.
Ouch.
That's terrible.
hurt as much, but it still pisses me off to hear it.
With the 3rd and 4th Armored Divisions occupied on the eastern side of the country, one can only assume the Noble Alliance intends to use that as an opportunity to crush the forces in the west.
Yeah, but they're not stupid. I bet the army in the west is putting up a pretty good fight by themselves.
It's too early to call things just yet.
An astute assessment. The situation in the Western Theater could change at a moment's notice.
Right. But that means we're uncertain what course to pursue now. And having said that, we have a question to pose to all of you. The question, really. With the whole of the Empire caught in the throes of civil war, what exactly do all of you intend to do from here on out?
Oh yeah, I guess that question was kind of interrupted before the attack on Ymir.
Us?
We were in the midst of discussing that when Reen was taken to the Pantagruel, in fact.
Well, I guess you all know the answers anyway.
This is a full-on war, and our fellow Erebonian countrymen stand on both sides. No one here is delusional enough to think that a group of students like us are capable of stopping it by ourselves. Still, during our field studies, we found ourselves up against the problems this nation faces again and again. And because we have that experience, I believe there's a place for us to change things in all this. A part only we can play. We may not be able to compete head-on with the Alliance, but together, we can move things in the right direction for Erebonia as a whole.
That was wonderful, Reen.
Still, we aren't all gathered here for the same reasons. Be it rescuing Elise or settling things with Crow, we've all got something that we personally want to accomplish. But accomplishing those things won't be possible with the situation as it stands. And that's why, no matter how stacked the odds are against us, or how fierce the fighting becomes, we want to put everything we have into making all the difference we possibly can, in whatever way we can. I think I speak for everyone in Class 7 when I say that.
Well said.
You bet.
I agree completely.
We may all come from different walks of life, but this time, that can work for us.
Exactly. We have something no one else does, and because of that, we can do things no one else can.
And what kind of class would we be if we didn't take advantage of that to protect the people and things we love?
As well as find our own answers to the questions we have looming over us.
As Reen said, however big or small it is in the long run, we have a place in this war, and we have every intention of following it.
Sounds like it'll be a pain, though.
Always a pain. But trust me, Fee, when it's a pain, it's usually rewarding.
No biggie. We're Class 7. Throw in a few of Reen's trademark speeches and we're raring to go.
She's not wrong.
Look at you kids.
You all sound like you've really thought long and hard about this.
That's the Class 7 I'm proud to serve. And you guys aren't the only ones who feel that way. Everyone at Thor's has something to bring to the table. Remember the Academy's motto? Arise, O youth, and become the foundation of the world.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That was what Principal Van Dyke said to us at the welcoming ceremony.
The words of Dreichel's the Lionheart serve to inspire us to this day, it would seem.
Of course. They ring as true as ever.
It's like you didn't even have to think about it. You guys just knew.
Yeah, you should be proud of yourselves. And it's true that Thor students are scattered all over the country right now. But I'm sure that each and every one of them are fighting too, and they feel the exact same way that you guys do.
I understand. Your Highness.
Indeed. I figured you would have already given it some thought, but I wasn't expecting such a stirring conviction. But I think this at least settles the matter of what course to take. If you would do the honors, Captain.
Okay, I'm not following this.
As you wish. We're about to do something neither side would ever expect us to do. We're going to entrust this ship to you.
I'm sorry, I probably had some wax in my ears. Come again?
From here on out, the Courageous is yours to command as you see fit.
Oh. we got a flying forward operation base. I like it.
What? What?
Yeah, that was me the first time I played this game a long time ago.
Father, would you mind elaborating?
It means exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, it would be problematic otherwise, I guess.
The operation of this ship will be left entirely to your discretion.
You're quite literally giving us the best ship in all of Erebonia. To us, a group of students. Why can't things like this happen in real life? Like, seriously.
I imagine your journey to make a difference in this war needs a home base to begin from.
And especially a home base that won't be attacked just as often as Ymir.
Well, yes, but...
But then what will you do?
We plan to disembark and make our way to the western provinces. Once there, we'll begin working with the 7th Armored Division and the other neutral forces in the region. The intention is to ensure that as few innocents as possible are harmed by this conflict.
I was actually worried this airship might prove a bit too conspicuous to aid us in pursuing that goal.
Yeah, it would be like, it would kinda taint the view.
But with us headed west, we'd be leaving all of eastern Erebonia in your hands.
That's actually a lot of ground to cover.
Wow.
I see. That does make the most logical sense.
Kinda. If we've got the courageous, we could give our third faction some real weight. Neither side could afford to ignore us.
Well, I guess there's that too, yeah.
I'm not even sure the guild could come up with a plan this wild.
Oh, you have no idea, Tobal.
Well, it's fair to say I've learned a lot from the way the guild's members handle things, yourself included. Oh, and Alphen?
Yes?
I'd like to ask you to remain on board the Courageous as well. This ship is technically the property of the Arner household, fathers in particular. It should give them a certain freedom to act if they have concrete backing from a member of the Imperial family.
So, we have the best ship in all of Erebonia, and freedom to do whatever the hell we please just because we have Alphen backing up all of we do. It's amazing. It's simply beautiful.
I'd be happy to.
And of course she wouldn't say no.
Henceforth, I, Princess Alphen Raisei Arnor, will guarantee the legitimacy of their actions. So do whatever you see fit to do. You have my full support.
Sorry about that, my little vent just fell. It's not really stable.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Wow!
We are truly honored to have you with us.
No turning back now.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to do this.
We hereby humbly accept custody of the courageous.
So can I be the captain?
Please, leave Eastern Erebonia to us.
We'll be counting on you then.
Huh. I'm looking forward to toasting your future successes.
Yeah, I guess it's not all bad. On that day, Class 7 was entrusted with the day-to-day running of the Courageous. Viscount Arcade and Prince Oliver decided they would disembark near Legram and travel to western Erebonia across the lake. And after receiving the bare minimum of instructions on how to operate the ship, its bright-eyed new owners set course for a Bell Highway. Which leaves one question. If Viscount Arcade is going off, who's gonna be the captain? Like, it's got to be Reen. I mean, he's the leader of Class 7 and all.
I'm leaving you in charge of the Courageous's day-to-day operations.
Never mind, Toa is actually a way better choice.
I don't doubt you'll make a fine acting captain.
It would be an honor.
So, how do I look? Why stopping now with the voice acting? Sometimes I really don't get this game. Wow, it really does suit you. Yeah, the size is just right too. Fortunately, I had a spare on hand that was a size smaller. That is quite fortunate. You're kinda like a cute mascot, like a human Mishi. Perhaps we should capitalize on this opportunity with an irresistible line of Captain Towa merchandise. Oh no, the fact that she appears in more than one Falcom game is more than enough. I'm looking at you, Tokyo Xanadu. That sounds like a wonderful idea. Oh, you two are terrible. Gotta say, that's a nice touch, Toa. It really suits you. Yep, you definitely look the part of a captain with it. I think things will be just fine here in our absence. Yeah, you guys won't be needing us around much longer. And that's the point where the guest characters leave. So you guys are taking off then. You'll be disembarking together with Father, yes? Yeah, it was nice to help out. It was nice to help out until you guys got back together again, but now that you are, there's no use in me sticking around. With the situation to the west what it is, I decided to help out over there instead. I intend to return to commanding the RMP. I believe that's the best way I can contribute to bringing this war to an end. Yeah, we understand. Bye-bye, Claire. If you bump into Lecter somewhere, make sure you say hi for me. I'll be sure to do so. I've been entrusted with a number of research tasks by Chairman Arena as it so happens. So this is farewell for now. That doesn't sound shady at all. But, well, stay safe, alright? Whether you're a member of Ouroboros or not, it'll never change how your family's made. Oh my. I'm touched to hear you say so. Please, my lady, take care of yourself. Still, let's keep in touch, okay? I'm gonna keep gathering as much info as I can through the guild's intelligence network. It's not like Erebone is the only place where strange stuff's going down now. Hello, Crossbell. True. I'm particularly concerned about what's happening over in Crossbell. I'm out. Anyway, I'll leave that to you. Give my regards to Miles. You know it. Thanks for everything that you've done for us. I'm sure that we wouldn't have been able to come this far if not for your help. Hey, no need to get all stiff all of a sudden. You're embarrassing me. We may be working separately from now on, but I intend to do all I can to aid you in the future. Take care, everyone.
Master Rean, would you mind accepting this?
And just like I foretold, apparently Sharon is the one that has the higher link experience with Rean, so we're gonna get her accessory for this run.
It's a little something I've always kept with me. I hope it will be of some use to you.
Here we get the Black Virtue. Believe it or not, all the items of the guest characters that we get right here are pretty good. As soon as we have control, I'm going to tell you about them. The one we get from Sharon is maybe the second best, with Claire being the worst and Tobal being objectively one of the better ones. I'll tell you more about it later.
Thank you, Sharon. You're always taking care of us, you know that? I almost wish you could stay with us longer. I feel like I have so much more I could learn from you.
I would like to remain here and continue to serve you as well, you know. I wish you the very best in the days to come. I'm sure that if you try, you will find a place worthy of you in this world.
Thank you. I'll do what I can.
I also hope that you'll continue to care for Lady Elisa in more ways than one.
Here we go again.
Sharon, stop!
We'll all take care of her while you're away, so don't worry.
Well then, it's time we bid you all a fond farewell for now. Chin up, Alphen. I'm counting on your charm to keep everyone motivated.
May the goddess be with you.
I look forward to the stories you'll have to tell when next we meet, Laura.
Good luck, Father.
It's a shame that we can't get Viscount Arcade as a guest character in this game. Although he would probably break the game in two. In more ways than one. And here's a conversation that is actually kind of important, so keep up with it.
There they go. You think they'll be okay on their own?
Only the goddess herself knows for certain. Still, with some already calling this a second advent of the War of the Lions, I can only hope they make it through unscathed.
Oh, I'm sure they'll all be just fine. They don't bear the symbol of the horned lion for show.
Yes, I suppose you're right. And the same goes for me, too. I can't very well call myself a Thor's alumnus and fail to deliver.
Well, well, are we birds of a feather? Proud Thor's graduates unite. I'll be in touch with them plenty in the coming weeks, so don't worry. The old guard will do as it must to keep watch over the young and vigilant. Speaking of the old guard, Chancellor Osborne was also a Thor's graduate, was he not?
Yes, he was.
Sorry to say, I can't picture it.
Was he now?
He and I may have had our differences, but I still feel a certain loss with his passing. I'd like to express my condolences to you while I have the chance.
I'm afraid I never had the chance to truly get to know him. But there's no doubt in my mind that he was one of the greatest men of our time.
Thank you.
Still, it must be tough for you with Heimdall under the Alliance's thumb. Were you able to find out where his funeral was held?
Actually...
And here we go.
Captain?
Get ready for some very interesting information.
Is something amiss?
It's just that I received a strange report on that very issue. I was told his body was taken into the custody of the Imperial Guardsmen when the city was occupied. But then after that, it simply disappeared at some point.
How does a corpse disappeared? How?
Disappeared, you say?
Is it possible the reformist faction could have taken it from them?
I'm afraid I don't know. It is possible that the intelligence division did something to that effect.
A disappearing corpse is certainly cause for concern. It's difficult not to draw parallels with the Lance Maiden's sudden death following the War of the Lions.
Unbelievable. I'm almost impressed how much trouble one man can stir up, even from beyond the grave.
Yeah, I can only imagine my surprise if Osborne was actually alive at this point. Although, how does one survive getting shot through the heart? It's quite literally impossible, but even then, we don't know what kind of scheme he may have produced. Still, the fact that his corpse disappeared can mean only one of two things. Either the noble/reformist faction stole it for some reason, like some sort of trophy or whatever, or someone else must be behind it. Can't really picture why they would want the corpse of dead Osborne.
He had so many plots in motion, I doubt even his death put a stop to them all.
Alright, finally the first day of the Erebonia turn. Sorry. Welcome to the beginning, the true beginning of Act 2. Well, it was kinda long overdue.
No change in weather or wind direction since entering Kreutzen provincial airspace.
We are currently cruising at a speed of 3,000 SPH. Nothing abnormal detected on the radar thus far.
Detour around the Twin Dragons Bridge, staying within the clouds. Take extra care that we aren't noticed by the Noble Alliance's surveillance.
Yes, ma'am. Wow, she's a real natural at this.
Would you believe me if I told you that that's exactly what I was about to say, and the game actually predicted me? You see, that's why I limit my own commentary during certain story scenes. The game comments for me. I've said it time and time again, and this is another example.
Yeah, it's hard to believe she's only been in the position for a day.
Indeed. She has proved a worthy captain in Father's place.
As if anyone could fit the role better than our student council president.
She still looks like a mascot character, though.
That's just one of her many charms.
Yeah, and besides, I can feel at ease knowing she's in charge. So, today's the day we start our journey anew, right?
And at the same levels we left off the first game. Maybe even higher. It's not a bad trade, I guess.
Right. We settled what we'll be doing last night. Now all that remains is to do it.
Wait, you did? I guess we're gonna get another cutscene here. Just how many cutscenes are in this game?
Well, Toa and George should be able to handle the day-to-day running of the ship, so that's out of the way. And whatever we decide, it's not like we're going to be able to do anything major today. Still, I think it's time we start hammering down exactly what we're going to be doing from tomorrow onward.
In theory, the Courageous gives us the ability to fly around the whole country with ease. But, in reality, the Noble Alliance has control over most of Erebonia, so we're limited in where we can actually go.
Yeah, we don't want to risk getting too close to Alliance territory. We'd run the risk of being captured, or even worse, being shot down.
It's sad to think how we barely have anywhere we can land with an amazing airship like this at our disposal.
Care to share your thoughts on this, instructor?
Oh, you kids can just do whatever you want.
Seriously? You're gonna act lazy now?
I lost the will to put in any effort after Captain Classy got off.
Sarah, I am majorly disappointed in you.
You slacker.
I'm pleased that you think so highly of my father, but...
Maybe Laura can hook you up with a one-on-one lecture on the Xseed School of Courtsmanship, if you know what I'm saying.
Milliam, don't put any ideas in our head.
I was kidding. In all seriousness, if you need more people fighting in whatever you end up doing, I'll be happy to help you out. Just don't forget that the Courageous was entrusted to you kids, not to me. If you want my advice, then you got it. But you need to be able to make all the important decisions on your own.
Well, it's not a bad way of putting it. Still, a few advices here and there would be useful, Sarah.
Of course.
You almost sound like an instructor for once.
Getting back to the matter at hand. We don't need to decide everything right at this moment. What say you to figuring out how and what for now? Come again?
I assume what would be our overall goal. Something realistic that we can all work together towards. And the how would be a basic idea on how we intend to achieve it?
Uh-huh. It's a little trick we use in the student council. It's easier to get motivated when you have a specific goal in mind.
You guys were doing the same kind of thing in the weeks before the Academy Festival, remember? The concert was what you were working toward, and all your other planning was how you intended to pull it off.
I see. That makes sense.
We did spend a lot of time before and during the festival working out all the details, come to think of it.
Not to mention taking care of the things we couldn't plan, like the strange stuff at the old schoolhouse.
We were coordinating with all of the other classes and clubs at the same time, too.
When you break it down step by step, we did so much without even realizing it. And we may have our own personal goals right now, but if we can wrap those up into one overarching goal, it won't seem half as much.
How about making it something related to the Academy itself, then?
I was thinking the exact same thing.
I wonder what's happening there.
Toa, George, the Academy is currently under the Noble Alliance's control, right?
That's right. The staff and students who are there are doing what they can, but...
As you know, during the attack, a lot of the students managed to flee Trista and are now scattered across the country. Now, most of the upper-class students chose to stick it out, though. They've got no reason to fear the Alliance, being nobles and all.
All right, then. I think our what should be taking back the Academy.
Sounds like a reasonable goal to me.
That sounds good to me. The Courageous will serve as a good means of transport, but we'll need a proper base sooner or later.
But with it, we can get a better look at the current state of things in Erebonia and try to reach out to those who are in need.
And whatever information we learn along the way could bring us that much closer to liberating the Academy.
Can't see taking it back going that smoothly, though.
Yeah, we'll need a few more levels before we can do that, but we'll get there.
No doubt. It's near the capital, so its defenses are gonna be rock solid.
Still, I like it. What goal is more worthy of us than reclaiming something we hold so dear?
Indeed. Regardless of personal motivations, I can't think of an objective more fitting to us as a group.
And if we actually manage to achieve it, the sky's the limit for us.
I'm genuinely moved by your positivity. Well, their optimism is probably their strongest point. We were thinking of something along the same lines, in fact, so it works out. And hey, if we all thought about it, what's to stop the others from Thors from thinking it too? So if you happen to bump into anyone who escaped from the Academy, why not go and ask them to join us?
Well, I think we have our side objective.
I'm not saying it has to be your primary focus or anything, but the more people we have on our side, the better.
That's a great idea!
Yeah, we'll be sure to keep an eye out.
We have about the bare minimum crew we need to fly at the moment, but it's not like this is their full-time job. I'm sure our current staff won't be here forever, so we're gonna need a few extra hands on board at some point. Ideally, we could have whoever's here now stick around long enough to train anyone we end up recruiting.
I know our numbers are small right now, but the more people we can get on our side, the higher chance we stand of making Trista and the Academy our home again. And I don't know about you, but I get this weird sense of satisfaction knowing that we students are gonna be the ones to do it.
I know the feeling, actually. Everything works for me.
I'd say that's our how decided, wouldn't you?
Agreed. To wrap all this up, we'll use the Courageous as our base and as a way to get a good idea of the current state of things in Eastern Erebonia. Along the way, we'll try to recruit as many fellow Thor students to help us out as we can. All for the sake of our primary goal, taking back Thor's military academy.
A solid plan, at least for the time being. We just have to put that how in motion. Well, I suppose what we need to decide next is where we should head for first. Yeah, we don't have many places we can go at the moment, but there's Legram, Ymir, the North Highlands. We're able to land at the 4th Armored Division's base too, right? Yeah, I asked Dad about that yesterday and he's fine with it. Probably better for us to swing by all of them at once, really. Oh, almost forgot. Prince Oliver sent you a few requests to take care of. He did? Did he really give us side missions? Well, we do have to work for that S rank, by the way. Oh joy. Oh, shut up, Fee. There are some good ones mixed in here. Not this chapter, but maybe the next one. The details are all right behind you. Behind us? Oh, there's a notable computer here. I've only ever really used one in class. No need to fear, technology doesn't bite, plus it'll be easier in the long run for you to grab stuff from there. So go on, take a look. Alisa, I think we need your help here. Sure. Oh, lucky us. These are made by the Epstein Foundation, so they're identical to the ones we used in class. Here we go. Something popped up. So this is how everything's displayed. The Intelligence Division has some of these too, I think. Alright, here we have 4 side quests, and before actually proceeding with the story of Act 2-1, feels weird not to say Act 1, 2 of these side quests are going to be mandatory. The story will progress as soon as the 2 of them are done. So, by that logic, let's do the non-mandatory ones first, and then the mandatory ones later, just for the sake of progression. Badass in danger. Okay, we have to go at the Inn Legram to hear about this. Still taking possession custody has vanished. Okay, so here we have to go to the 4th Armored Division camp. Okay, so to proceed with the story, we actually have to find 4 students of Thor's. And then there is your usual monster quest. There's one from Nord, one from Legram, one from Guerrilla's Proving Ground. Seems we got plenty of work in store for us all over the country. And how I wish it were in my imagination, but I think I saw a depressingly familiar name on one of them as well. I'm kinda worried about the one Dad sent us. And I don't think we can ignore that unusual monster that's appeared in Nord either. Prince Oliver took the time to gather and send all of these to us himself? Wow, how did he manage to do that? He just left for Western Erebonia. He's a guy with plenty of connections, especially through the Bracer Guild. He said he's going to keep finding stuff like this that he thinks you can handle and send them your way. How many you end up doing is up to you, but I'd recommend taking care of the more urgent one at least. Understood. I don't think any of us mind one bit. Indeed, it helps bring focus to our goal of touring the region and helping those in need. With that being said, I would assume checking the safety of our fellow Thor students is our top priority. I took the liberty of giving you that one myself. We're slowly getting information in on where Thor's students could be, and if you've been snooping around during Act 1, you should remember where most of the students are. Anytime we find something, we'll update the computer, and who knows, maybe they'll be willing to join us too. How convenient. I'm suddenly very grateful for those classes. Guess we'll be checking this thing pretty often. Well, I think that's almost everything. When you decided where you want to go first, let me know, okay? Oh, and George is hard at work setting up a normal factory in the ship's hold. So if you need any modification made to your Arcus units or any quartz, you can sort those out there. While you're at it, it's worth checking on the other facilities on board too. It's not much now while we're short on staff, but I'm sure any students you recruit will get creative with their space. Might as well. Still, do you guys mind if we figure out who's going to be making up for our active party when we disembark first? Actually, if we're doing that now, would you mind including me? I'd like to see the strange monster from the Highland request myself. So, here's how Act 2 works in terms of party members. Reen, of course, will be mandatory, and then other members of Class 7 will rotate being mandatory party members. In this case, we'll have Gaius, but the rest of the party is pretty much free. I don't mind at all. That sounds fair. I can come with you if you need a hand, too. You just let me know if I'm needed, okay? Thanks, instructor. Now, let's see. Okay, so like it says, it's temporarily not possible to remove guys from the party. And then we can choose 4 more party members. Now, this is where you pretty much want to choose at least 4 party members and stick to them. Of course, when the game progresses between Act 2-1 to 2, like for Act 1 in its entirety, the levels of the members of Class 7 will advance automatically as well. However, it won't be much at all. So of course I'm going to go with my main setup, as you can see, but since I have Gaius, which is another craft user, I'll go with Fuses as a backup art user as well as an item user. I could bring Sarah along only for raw power, but I think it's a little unnecessary. I have Reen and Fee for that already. And Gaius can be somewhat useful. Keep one thing in mind, however. Some party members are locked in and you cannot remove them. It doesn't mean they have to be attack members. They can stay in the supports. So this is gonna be my setup for this chapter. Like I said in the past, Emma, Elisa, and Fee are going to be my main team members alongside Reen for this one. Okay, let's get going. Right. Let's go, go, go! Act 2, The Awakening Lions. I should probably do as the instructor recommends and tour the facilities on board at least once before disembarking. There's not much, but it'd be smart to see Georgie in the ship's hold and pay Valimar a visit. Might be good to see Princess Alphen too. And now we can see student info tab in our notebook. And we can explore the ship. But first, let me switch video clips real quick. Alright, now that I did that, luckily it's a fast process on PS4, let's go and explore the ship. You don't have to explore all of the ship, but there are a few things that we're supposed to do. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the Orbital Factory and hold on the first floor. And the most important thing that I want to do is actually go to talk to Valimar right now. Nice, this is where the Orbital Factory is. I could see myself coming here pretty often. Oh, trust me, we will. George said he brought the Orbital back on board from Ymir too. Maybe it's here? Either way, I want to thank him while I'm down here. About the first floor factory hold. This area of the Courageous contains an Orbital Factory. Hello, George. Like any other Orbital Factory, you can forge weapons, synthesize quartz. Simply speak to George and he will fulfill our requests. For a price, of course. As this area also happens to be the most spacious part of the Courageous, it is also where Valimar and the Orbital bag are stored. Eventually, both of these can be customized as well. Oh yes, we can customize Valimar when a certain student from Thors join us. And it will be glorious. Also needed, considering some of the bosses in the later parts in the game, that I remember anyway. So first, let's talk to Valimar. Greetings, Awakener. Hey Valimar, I take it your mana has recovered a little now? Affirmative. It stands at 50% replenished. I see that a new power has awakened within you as well. I don't know if I'd call it new exactly. This power has always been within me. I just didn't understand what it was or why it was there. You still don't. But thanks to everyone's help, it finally feels like it's a part of me, if that makes any sense. Still, I need to keep practicing using it. I can't have a repeat of what happened aboard the Pantagruel. You appear to be aware of your own limitations. Much like you learned to better synchronize with me through practice, humans must improve their specification through similar means. You need only to work towards improvement to gain optimal proficiency for the battles to come. Huh. Yeah, I suppose you're right. I can't help but feel that one day this power will be useful to me as an awakener too. Maybe? I won't be able to use it all the time, but I'll do what I can to get better at making use of it. I will look forward to it. And with that, we have finally fully unlocked Spirit Unification. Using this craft allows Reans to unleash the power within him and fight for several turns in this state. Activating it cures all status abnormalities and increases Rean's strength in battle significantly. This craft unleashes the power sleeping within Rean. It raises strength, defense, and speed by 50% and imbues him with the Unleashed status, which changes crafts and nullifies any and all status ailments and status debuffs. As a craft, it has a cost of 100 craft points, but for 3 turns, unfortunately only 3, Rean will become unstoppable. Well, as far as unstoppable as you can be. The only downside, if you want to call it that, is that the buff from Spirit Unification count as normal status buffs. If Rean's strength is already at plus 50% when you activate Spirit Unification, he's not gonna go any higher than that. 50% buff is still gonna stay as 50% buff. There are no stacking in this game, at least buff-wise. That will also change all of Rean's offensive crafts. You will still be able to use Motivate as far as I remember, and every single one of them, Autumn Leaf Cutter, Arc Slash, Gale, and Flame Impact, as you saw in the Pentadrule, change name, increase power, and sometimes even status afflictions. The best one will probably be Arcane Gale for various reasons, as you probably saw in the fight with Crow. Also, there we go, much better. Okay then, what's next? You can go and talk to George if you want to, but it's not really mandatory. Well, you kinda have to progress with the story, but that's another thing. Hey George, everything doing okay in here? Yeah, the orbital factory is all ready for use. So if you need any work done on your ornaments, don't hesitate to let me know. Thanks. I'm sure we'll be taking you up on that very soon. By the way, you're the one who brought the orbital bike on board, right? Guilty as charged. I figured it'd come in handy at some point. It was still in good condition back thanks to uses, but I did make a few modifications to it. Modifications? Like what? Oh, I changed a few parts so they'll be better suited for riding off the road. Because yes, with the orbital bike you can't technically go over paved roads. Now we can use it as if it was a horse and go even on uneven ground. So now you should be able to ride it on all rougher terrains. Feel free to take it for a spin anytime. We can ride it wherever we want? Really? Really? Even if we were to break down or something, it would be hard to collect it with the courageous. So go ahead and have fun riding it around. Thanks, got a feeling it'll come in handy. And to be honest, just the thought of getting to ride it all around the country gets me excited. Angelica would be proud. Oh, just one thing, about that sidecar we added to it. It was roughed up and pretty badly during the attack on the Academy, sorry. I can fix it for sure, but it's gonna cost a lot of Mira to buy all the materials. So we have to go without it for a while, at least until we have the funds to repair it anyway. That's a shame. It is, but what can you do? Oh, one thing about the bike. What would you say? Oh yeah, we here they basically said that we can actually customize it by changing colors and whatnot. I'm gonna skip it because it's really not too interesting. By pressing the square button on the highway to open the navigation menu, pressing it again, we can summon the bike as if we were summoning the horses in Nord. Oh, we can also summon horses apparently in some areas, but that's another thing. You can customize the color of the orbital bike, but I'm not really gonna do that. Alright, I'm gonna come between this episode and the next one. I think I'm gonna finish exploring the Courageous in this episode. It's like episode 25 all over again. A lot of plot, no action at all. I'm sorry for that, guys. In between episodes, I'll come here to George to actually customize my ornaments a little bit, because right now all of our ornaments have a level 1 slot unlocked, but I want to make sure I start working on the level 2s. Oh, wait, I didn't upgrade Gaius? Oh yeah, I guess only the party members that were with me on Act 1-3 have slots fully upgraded. I'll make sure to have at least everyone have the level 1 slot unlocked, but we'll have to see who's gonna get the level 2. Okay, let's go to the second floor now. So there's a gaming room in here, as well as the cafeteria, library. There's a ton of stuff on this floor. I should probably take a look around and see what's on offer. Okay, second floor facilities. A wide variety of facilities, including a kitchen and an infirmary. Well, this facility are currently a little limited. More will become available as you continue to recruit students. This floor also contains a game room, which is just right for playing Blade 2 against your classmates. Yeah, I'll probably play a match in this episode and then do the other off-screen. Okay, so there is a small event in the cafeteria by talking to Milliam. It shouldn't be anything major, but let's play it out. This ship's so fancy. There's so much to see, I can't even decide where to start. I mean, I would if this thing had a chef. I was hoping for some tasty grub. Well, we're flying with a skeleton crew right now. Chefs aren't exactly essential on a ship compared to, say, engineers. But that's why we need to get to work on recruiting students. The more we get, the better the Courageous. Makes sense when you put it like that. Makes me kinda jealous of the nobles, though. I bet the Pantagruel's got some real top-class chefs on board. They gave you some super fancy food when they took you on board, right? How was it? It's not like I could really enjoy it that much, given the whole hostage thing. Oh, I guess it couldn't hurt to ask. Have you ever heard of something called a Black Workshop before? Huh? Hold on, who told you about it? I figured she might know. That Altina girl mentioned it to me. She said it's the place she belongs to. She also said they loaned her to the Alliance. Just what kind of place loans someone else a girl? How much can I say here? Is the confidential info in their intelligence division file enough? That sounds like stuff you shouldn't be telling me, but sure? Well, we don't know where it is or anything, but it's a real unique arms workshop. They make weapons to order, but one thing they have in common is that they're all super powerful and super hard to use. You know, for terrorists, high-level Jaegers, customers like that. That huge rifle Crow used to shoot Gramps was probably made there too. You think? Well, it was designed to hit a target over 3,000 yards away with pinpoint accuracy. That's pretty nuts. Claire said it's the same one used when he faked his own death back at the mine too. But if they did make it, I wonder if that means they're allied with the Alliance. That's a lot to take in. But why would a girl like Altina be affiliated with a place like that? That Clom Soleus of hers that's basically her personal Ergetlum. Wait a second, does the Black Workshop make the combat shells or something? What about Ergetlum for that matter? Ding ding ding! Gramps used to do business with them through the intelligence division from what I hear. But about a year ago, I guess all contact with them just stopped. Lecter was trying to find out where the actual workshop was for a while, but he didn't have any luck. Is that so? Still, I bet we're gonna run into that girl and her Sammy sooner or later. I'm getting a kind of rival vibe from them, you know? Me and Lemmy have gotta keep up our training so we can beat them. We're gonna do 1,000 arm swings a day and 1,000,000 push-ups, and we're gonna be so buff you won't even know what hit you. Just be sure to do those arm swings on the deck and away from people so you don't hit anyone. Now that I know more about the workshop though, it's more mysterious than ever. We might need to add them to our foes to watch out for list right under Ouroboros. I'm not too sure about that, but we'll just have to see, I guess. Okay, now let's go and play some Blade. Remember that Crow dropped the Blade 2 deck? Here's where you use it. Yep, exactly, Reen. Scrap of paper is up between 2 cards inside. What is this? Welcome to the new and improved version of Blade, creatively titled Blade 2. It's basically the same thing, but with a few more cards to make it more strategic. Give it a shot. I think you'll like it. Just don't let it distract you too much from becoming a better night pilot, okay? Crow. When did it get this into my pocket? He could have just given it to me when we were sitting together. But I guess this is much more Crow approach. Oh well. More strategic. Let's try it out. And now we can play Blade 2. So we can call classmate and play Blade with them. It will give 100 link experience whether you win or lose against them the first time you play. However, we can only deepen our bond with 5 characters every act. So for Act 2-1 we can only choose 5, same for Act 2-2, 2-3, and so on and so forth. Every time there's a major story development, the star's signature that you've played Blade with them already will be removed so we can do the whole link experience again. Okay, let's try out...
Let's get started!
The new rules of Blade.
Go on, draw a card. After you, then.
Okay, so the cards, the numbered cards are essentially the same. The one will revive destroyed cards, and they go from 1 to 7. Then we have the Bolt that will destroy the last card of the opponent that has been played. Mirror will switch the cards on the field with the opponent, and then we get two new cards, the new additions, called Blast and Force. Blast will have the opponent discard 1 card from their hand. If they have none and it's the last card you play, it will be served as 1. Force will double up your current total. Now, an added rule of Blade 2 is that, technically speaking, you can't finish with a card that it's not numbered. So try to save up your highest numbered card for last. It's gonna be a little bit of a back and forth.
Force!
Oh, thank you.
What? You can't do that! Bolt!
As a matter of fact, I can, and I will do this.
What? You can't do that! Aw, one more game?
Seriously? Well, I mean... Well, I did finish with a card that is not number. Oh, wait, we got to link level 5 already? Damn. This unlocks Rush 2, which means the Rush command with triangle during a link attack is actually more powerful. Not to the level of a burst, but you get the idea. Let me check the rules real quick. Number cards, double width, okay. So far it's the same as the original game. If the final card of the game is used to clear the field, so a bolt, essentially, the match will result in a draw. Okay, so I did remember wrong. I'll be playing other 4 matches off screen, but for now let's continue exploring the ship. This video is long enough as it is. Next up, it's gotta be the 3rd floor. Okay, we can access the front and rear deck, and that's where all the shops are. We're gonna come and forth a lot in this place, especially when there are more students around. For now, the only shop that's available is the weapon shop. There's a room that we can use as an orbman charging station. Okay, let's go and see what the shop gives us. Oh yeah, we can buy improved weapons in here. I'm gonna wait a little to do that for reasons. But here's a little tip for Nightmare mode. I'm just gonna say it right now. When it comes to managing equipment, because the game is a little stingy on giving you a lot of money, it's usually a good idea to choose 4 characters, like I did in my case, Rin, Fee, Laura, and Rin, Fee, Alisa, and Emma, and stick to them. And if you have some spare money that you know you can spend, outfit the support units. But yeah, your main focus should be your actual active party. A lot of people playing this game usually go for strong characters like Rin, Laura, Sarah, and just S-craft the entire game, but I'm not gonna do that. Using S-crafts to cheese through the entire game is a little cheap, and I'll try to give some challenge to the entire thing. With that out of the way, there really isn't much to do in this area. At least not yet. Unless I have to visit the front and rear deck? No. Turbo mode, to me. No, I guess we're good. So let's go and explore the 4th floor real quick. Okay, let's speed it up a little, because otherwise we're really gonna be here forever. This floor has the conference room and the royal room. The latter is exclusively for Princess Alphen, obviously, but I bet we'll be using the former quite a bit. The 4th floor contains a number of useful facilities, including a conference room and various training rooms. We'll be going in those. And quite a lot, too. It also contains the royal room, which, as the name suggests, was designed for the members of the imperial family on board. Right now, that's Princess Alphen. There are 3 training rooms in all, built to train your close combat, range combat, and art capabilities respectively. These can't be used immediately, but you'll be able to use them once you have recruited students capable of running them. And and they're going to be a pretty useful source of U materials as far as I remember, so do come in here. Okay, so here we have to talk to Princess Alphen, so let's do just that. Hello, Reen. Hello, Your Highness. What's that document you got there? Oh, just a little formality I need to get through before we really get started. It's to show that control of this ship has been temporarily passed from our family to you, and that you've been given the legitimate right to use it as you see fit. Oh, right. Well, if you need my help to cross the T's or dot any I's, let me know. You've been gracious enough to join us on the ship, so the least I can do is help you out with whatever you need. Oh, don't worry. Half of being a member of the Imperial family's paperwork anyway. I can handle it on my own. Besides, you've all helped me more than enough already. Come to think of it, I never did thank you for saving me from the Pentagril, did I? Properly, I mean. Thank you very much, Reen. I truly never expected that you would be my knight in shining armor. That's not something I need to be thanked for. Back in the Ymir, I swore that I would rescue both you and Lise from the Alliance. I've completed half of that task, and now I've got to finish the job. Then let me help you with rescuing her. I'll be keeping a close eye on you all, all the while to see if you're really Order of the Phoenix Wings metal material. What's this now? It's a very exclusive honor that my family only awards every few years to people who are really deserving of it. Remember the Medal of Honors that you received from the teachers in the first game? It's essentially the same thing. There are 3 medals in all: Charity, Love, and Strength, awarded to people who exemplify said virtues. It just so happens that, as a ship of the Imperial family, we have some of those medals on here, so I have them to give. That's remarkably convenient. So if you demonstrate your worthiness for any of those medals, I'd like to give them to you. Though in your case, I'm sure it's more a matter of when than if. I don't know if I'd say that. Still, it can't hurt to try to live up to those lofty expectations. But medal or no medals, the most important thing to me right now is rescuing Elise. And helping you reunite with your family too. Of course. You can read about the Order of Phoenix Wings in the Royal Room's bookshelf, but... And now we can use the quick travel, thank you. So, I'm just gonna do the Devil's Advocate and talk to you about these medals, and while I'm at it, let's talk about the item that Sharon gave us, that being the Black Virtue. Think of this as an Impede 3 quartz, in accessory format. Attacks and crafts can cancel arts with a 90% chance and give you a 6 extra points of delay. So yeah, it's essentially an Impede 3 in accessory form, nothing more, nothing less. This is going to be somewhat useful on someone that you want to use as a canceller build, but for now, I'm just gonna leave it there. We'll see if I'll ever get to use it. The other accessories that you can get, one from Claire that will give you 100 hit and 10% extra crit chance to your attacks and crafts, and the other from Toval, reduced your casting time for arts by roughly 30%, I think, or 33, making that a cast 3 quartz. The first time I played through the game, I got the Toval accessory, and it worked wonders on Emma, since it did stack with cast 2 and cast 1. Although I only did use cast 2, but you get what I mean. As for the medals themselves that Alphen just talked about, the Medal of Charity can be obtained by clearing 20 side quests and will give you a huge boost in Art Strike and a slight boost in effort points. The Medal of Love, it's a medal that you get from getting 90 notes in the friend notes in your notebook, and will buff your defenses by 150 points and your HP by 1500. And then you have the Medal of Strength, the hardest one to get, for which you have to defeat 5 very particular monsters. That will boost your strength by 100 points and your speed by 10. We won't be seeing that for quite some time. Usually when you can get the medal, just randomly talk to Alphen and she will give the medal to you. But until I'm sure I can get it, I'll probably not come in here. Next up, like I said, there's the training facilities that we can use to farm some new materials without farming experience, and we'll also be able to get some good quartzes and master quartzes from here, but we'll get to those a little later. Well, now we're done with actual exploring the ship, so I'm gonna go back to the bridge, and then I'm going to end this episode because the video has been long enough as it is. Talking to Toa in the captain's chair will allow you to select the destination and reorganize your party. Regardless of who is selected as Reen's support in battle, Reen will tour the courageous alone. And when you're on a highway, you press the square button and press the start button, or in this case the option button, and you will board the courageous automatically. But it can only be done in open areas, so no dungeons or a select portion of the story. And check the computer for reporting requests as well. Make sure you remember to report them, otherwise they will be completely lost. You can also use the computer to check the information you have on Thor's students and their own locations. But like I said, we're gonna be dealing with all of this and the first few side quests of Act 2-1 in the next episode, so join me next time as we take care of them. This has been Muhammad Raven, and I will see you very soon. See ya!